What should the country have learned from the House's role in impeachment in 1974?
I think that it's such a serious undertaking. Do not pursue it for trivial, partisan political purposes. If it does fall to you while you're in the House to examine abuses of power by the president, be as circumspect and careful as John Doerr was. Restrain yourself from grandstanding and holding news conferences and playing to your base. This goes way beyond whose side you're on, or who's on your side. And try to be faithful purveyors of the history and the solemnity of the process.
And I guess that lesson wasn't learned.
That lesson was not learned. And that's why I think it's important to keep talking about how serious this is. It should not be done for political, partisan purposes. So those who did it in the late 90s, those who talk about it now, should go back and study the painstaking approach that the impeachment inquiry staff took. And it was bipartisan. You had a bipartisan staff, and you had both Democratic and Republican members of the committee reaching the same conclusions that there were grounds for impeachment.
You were there before John Doerr was named.
I'm sure I was there before Burt Jenner. Maybe it was before John Doerr. I remember showing up for work, and if I was the first staffer, Hillary Rodham from Yale Law School was the second staffer, and I remember John Doerr calling us into his office saying, "Okay, Bill, Hillary, we have a research project here. We have to find out what constitutes grounds for impeachment of a president, and there doesn't seem to be any case directly on point. So let's see, it's Friday afternoon, I don't want to ruin your weekend. Why don't you have the memo on my desk Tuesday morning?" We said, "Fine, Chief," and looked around, and 6 months later, after 40 lawyers had gone blind trying to figure out what the answer to that question was, we decided that the answer to the question really resided in the newspapers of the time, not in decided law cases.